Hey, it's Graham Elwood. Here at the Political Vigilante. This story's going to sound weird. Huh? Oil settles at 52.24, up $1.04% following, up 1.4% following U.S. missile strike in Syria. So let me summarize. Oil prices have gone up after a 1 month. It's a 1 month high. Oil prices were like at a low, real low point. Like in March, they hit a real low point. And now, after the strike in Syria, now Syria doesn't produce a lot of oil, but it's strategically placed, and a lot of oil goes in and out of there, as I've talked about. Russia, that's why they're allies. Russia needs oil. They produce oil, and they need alliances like everybody else in oil-rich countries. This is the whole, like, as I said in the last video about Syria, it's all about oil. This humanitarian war shit is a fucking joke. It's about money. Who is the Secretary of State? It's Rex Tillerson, right? And he's like, you know, Putin needs to play ball. Either Putin isn't playing ball with them on the oil level, or they all concocted this together. Either way, it's about oil. Either way, it's about oil. Because this is the thing I've talked about with the carbon bubble. So, and I did a story on this months ago. So to bring some of you who might not know, I'll bring this up to speed. So there's a giant carbon bubble. It's oil and coal, but it's mainly oil. Coal has been being used less and less by countries all over the world. So what is happening is the bubble is being overinflated, and the fear is not when we run out of oil that there'll be no more money in oil. The fear is when investors no longer see a long-term future in oil. And the oil companies are terrified of this. And it's economists that are worried about this. As I've spoken about on this show and others, the governor of the Bank of England said about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, he gave a big economic talk and warned about this. And he said, we need to slowly deflate the bubble, because if it bursts, it's going to shatter the global economy, because the whole world runs on oil, and it's money, and it's an investment, and it is brutal. So oil consumption has been on the decrease. That's why oil prices have been low and low, and that's why they need to jack them back up, because investors need to see oil prices go up. So what jacks up oil prices? War in the Middle East. They want you paying more at the pump. Now, they've subsidized it a lot in America over the years, because if we paid what like Europe pays for oil, Europe pays somewhere in the $10 a gallon range, right? They do it per liter, and it's the euro and everything, but it figures out about $10 a gallon. If America started getting in the $7, $8, $10 a gallon range, then everybody would go, we're done. We're getting electric cars. We're going to hydrogen. We're all taking the bus. That's what would happen. So they need to kind of keep that subsidy, but they still need the price of oil to go up a little bit. And also, the president knows that, any president knows that if the price spikes too much while you're in office, I mean, that was Obama. It was the spring, summer of '08 when gas was $5 a gallon, and that was Obama. That was his whole campaign. Oh man, it's $5 a gallon. We're in a war in Iraq. What are we doing? So these are these little things. This is why I don't trust. I don't trust this war was humanitarian in any level, shape, or form. And as I've said, if it actually did happen, there was chemical weapons, that's awful, that's horrifying, but us airstriking isn't going to change anything. Regime change. We're going to just go in there and haphazardly do it, just like we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. It won't work. So, but that's what this report is. I'll read a little bit of it. Oil traded near a 1 month high on Friday after the United States fired missiles at a Syrian government airbase, sending shockwaves through global markets and raising concerns that the conflict could spread in the oil-rich region. here's something you need to understand. The oil people, they need the Middle East to be unstable. Because if they have a stable government, then that government can just have leverage and say, you know, we can sell our oil to whomever we'd like. You know, Saddam was trying to get oil, OPEC and everybody to stop using the dollar. And that's when the invasion started. So this is what this is all about. U.S. oil rigs rose for the week ending April 7th by 10 to 267 rigs. Data show from Baker Hughes revealed on Friday. This marks the 12th week in a row that drillers added more oil rigs. Yeah, they got to get more oil. As I've said, Trump's whole cabinet is climate change deniers. The Secretary of State is a former ExxonMobil chief, Rex Tillerson. You better believe this was about oil prices. There was no humanitarian anything. I mean, I wouldn't, like, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole chemical weapon thing was just a hoax anyway. And Russia's going to retaliate. So, and Rex Tillerson and these guys would love to see everybody paying $4 or $5 a gallon. You know, and they'll just blame Trump or they won't blame Trump. They'll blame Putin or Obama or whoever else. You know, they'll just blame everybody else other than the fact that they need high oil prices mean they make a lot of money. You and I are fucked. It means high money. As I've said, the minute I get the money, I'm buying an electric car. How do I say this? My car stayed home 2 days this past week. I try to at least not use my car 2 days a week if I can. If I can do more, I will. I ride my bike. I take the bus. I hate using these fucking assholes' oil. I fucking hate these people. They're complete assholes, and they are ruining this country. And when everyone talks about, oh, we got to stop giving money for welfare and helping illegals and all this other stuff, how about this? How about we stop spending 54% of our budget on military? Because our military is just at the behest of oil companies and at the behest of everyone else, at the manufacturers. Anyone who enlisted in the military, hey man, hats off to you for wanting to serve your country, but do you know who you're serving? ExxonMobil, that's who you're serving. So it's just, yeah. Pay attention. Pay close attention. Because that's what these wars are all about, and they're bullshit. And we should all be against war. If you're a Christian, you should be against war. Because I'm pretty sure the Bible says thou shalt not kill. I'm pretty sure that's like a big part of that book's themes. You should want to help the poor. If you're in favor of war and you don't want to help the poor or refugees, then you're not a Christian. Thanks for watching. The Patreon's below. Support independent media because look what the corporate media is telling you. I'm not showing you fake video shit that the CIA concocted or whatever. There's no oil company paying me. If there was, I certainly wouldn't be living in a goddamn one-bedroom apartment driving a car with 250,000 fucking miles on it. I'm so pissed off lately. I know these haven't been very funny, but I don't know what the fuck else to do with these shitheads. So, thanks for watching.